All right, welcome back to Making Picks. My name is Nathan. I'm joined with my co-hosts Will and Mark. What is going on, guys? How's your week been?
Man, it was a busy week. Busy week. It could only go up from what I witnessed on Sunday. I was down there for that debacle of a game at a AT&T Stadium in Dallas against my New York Football Giants. But then again, everybody got injured, so we could. I'm gonna go with that. Had everybody been healthy, I think it would have been a different outcome. But nonetheless, we still gotta continue and improve every week. So I'm hoping that Danny Dimes is getting out of concussion protocol and we're able to bounce back this week.
Well, I think if you didn't actually go to the game here, my whole freaking football team would actually still be healthy, and I probably would have covered my two picks from last week. That's just my unbiased opinion. I mean, I just think it's extremely ironic, and where I put all my eggs into one basket last week with the under as well as like the Giants. You're having a horrible year. Next thing you know, you show up at the game here, and next thing you know, my whole freaking world goes to complete crap. Is that a coincidence? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
It's not a coincidence.
I'm leaning a little bit more towards not as much as a coincidence. That's
you
just
know, it's just karma. It's just bad karma. There was a lot of verbal abuse that
no. I think it's you. I don't think that has anything
Nate
to do
and
with
myself took last week, and the football gods didn't reward you.
Oh, it's karma.
Yeah, it was karma. It was karma because you came in, you were gloating, you were blaming us, you were blaming Nate and myself for being at the bottom, and last week we finished second. But had you not been subpar, we could have finished first. So it is what it is, Mark. And again, it's still early in the season, so you have time to rebound. Hopefully, you can do it this week. Let's
It's funny you should say that because it's actually really not. I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, this stuff goes by so quickly. We've kind of officially passed like the first quarter mark of the NFL season. We're in week 6 kind of already. So I mean, it was always used to be your first 4 games, but with the extra week and the buys and things like that, we're now kind of in week 6. So next thing you know, I mean, we're gonna blink an eye. We're gonna be talking about Thanksgiving games and playoff positioning and things like that. I sound like an old fart. I say the same thing every single year, but it's just really impressive to me how fast the football season kind of goes. But no, besides from that, just a really kind of tough week. So as you can kind of tell, you guys are forced to look at this face right now without any cap. The Yankee cap has been suspended. It's been put into a drawer. I got all excited for the start of the hockey season here. I had my Rangers cap kind of ready to go. They dropped their first 2 games of the season. So that cap is on temporary suspension until they actually win a game here. So until I start seeing some brighter skies, so to speak here, you guys are forced to look at this mug capless. That's your punishment.
Yeah. I'm looking around right now for my backpack, carrying this team after this week. So Mark, why don't you go into the week's results?
We'll get through it. I know you're pushing me. Let's get to what happened last week. So here it is. Okay, so week number 5. Keep in mind we only did one contest. Unfortunately, still nobody has gone 10 for 10. So no major prizes to actually go for. I can still see a couple of different people are lacking with regards to following the rules to make yourself even eligible for the contest, but we'll get to that in a couple of different seconds here. So for last week, 1 for 2. So lost on the my 2 Giants picks. I'm not sure what I was actually thinking, but I lost on the under as well with the Giants with the points. I did hit on the Steelers. Anyway, regardless, neither here nor there. 1 for 2, 17 wins, 10 wins or 10 losses for the year. Still not bad. Will, nice bounce back week. 2 wins, 1 loss. Creeping your way back up to not even respectability. I guess just to, I guess above whatever you want to call it. But still a little work to do. But 11 wins, positive week. 11 wins, 16 losses for the year. Big week for Nathan last week. 3 wins, no losses. Puts him 1 game above the 500 mark in 13 wins and 12 losses.
And as a group, we were in second place.
As a group, we finished with 34 points. We came in second place. So I mean, this guy has actually been with StatementGames for a while, but BXPRJ always pops up there. Not by that much here. I believe it was only I think it was 37 points or something like that. But one of the long-term mainstays for on the StatementGames platform wound up taking first place.
Nice, very good.
Shout out
so, Yeah. Well, let's talk about this week's game that we're going to go into. Mark, just give the overall spiel. What is Statement Games? What are we going to talk about this episode? And do you got anything to give away?
Yeah, before I go ahead and forget here, since I am on a new device, and I just want to make sure that I am doing this okay. I'm just sharing my screen, Nathan. Let me know if you can actually see it. So of course we do have a prize for this week here, but just to take a quick step back here, Statement Games is just a game. What we're doing between us as a group is we're playing an alternative form of fantasy football. We're going to be focusing in on this. It's week number 6. We just talking about it a second ago here, but Sunday Night Football week number 6. A little bit of a bummer that Russell Wilson wound up getting kind of injured last week here, but nonetheless, it's still shaping up to a pretty decent game between the Seattle Seahawks traveling more towards the East Coast to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in prime time. And we'll go through the game in a couple seconds. It's pretty easy to follow along, but regardless, anybody who happens to go 10 for 10 with their picks, I'd be remiss to not mention our partners over at Sports Host. So if you log into the Statement Games platform, you can actually see that a majority of our features have been rebranded under the Sports Host name as we continue with our integration process, and they become a core white label partner of Statement Games here. But if you go 10 for 10 with your picks in the Sunday night game, you will also have an opportunity to win a free Sports Host t-shirt. And I got my screen shared right now, but we will also be giving away a 2004 score PSA Gem Mint 10 Ben Roethlisberger rookie card. I'm kind of showing a couple of items what they've actually sold for. So they probably range from anywhere between I'd say 100 to 150 bucks. I'm just kind of pulling some of the most recent comps that are kind of being shown on eBay.com. But for this week here, that's what we're also giving away. Of course, we will also be playing in the game that we're about to show in a couple of seconds here under the let's see here, SG Live username here. Anybody who beats that account, I'll come to the table with some additional Statement Games t-shirts. But you got to follow the rules. The rules are pretty simple here. You must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. You also need to drop a comment in the comment section below. And in the comment section below here, you need to follow a very specific format. Pretty simple. Just state your username and your top 10 pick. That makes you eligible for some of these grand prizes. And just keep in mind that you do have, it's a free-to-play game, so you have the ability to play in as many contests as you possibly can. But for the grand prizes, we're only looking for your first entry first. So that's kind of the rundown in the scoop.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's get into this Sunday's game, this Sunday's matchup. We are playing in Contest 1, so you will see SG Live in that contest when you join. And we kick it off with the man that needs the most help this week, Mark.
I do need kind of a lot of help here, but let's just in a variety of different ways, not necessarily just kind of making picks. Although my picks have been pretty freaking good this year, and I don't believe that I'm getting the recognition and credit that I deserve. But I wouldn't really expect anything less from this freaking group of turkeys. So let me just send out kind of a quick email because I did have a ringer, and I wanted to bring him on board, and I want him to help me, and I'm just going to tell him, yes, he's more than welcome to go ahead and join now. So just give me 1 second. You don't actually see anything in the back of your queue there, right?
Nope. Will, why don't you break down this matchup a little bit?
Yeah, give us a little bit of a breakdown. We wait for a special guest.
Yeah.
Wow. So, man, just looking at the injuries on both teams, right? If you're looking at the quarterback, we're going to start with the Seattle Seahawks. You got Geno Smith. Geno Smith is going to be starting, obviously, as you guys, we're all from the Northeast, so we remember him being drafted by the Jets several years back, actually, and being the starter out there. It didn't work out for him, so now he's been kind of like a backup and a journeyman. But he did come in relief last Thursday night against the Rams, and There was a comeback that was on the way, but he turned the ball over with a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter, so it wasn't able to be done. I do think that they're in good shape this upcoming Sunday to go ahead and defeat Pittsburgh Steelers for the simple fact that you got Ben Roethlisberger who's going to be out with a lot of weapons. So I'm looking for Najee Harris to have a phenomenal game. Juju Smith is out, but Johnson is in there, so it's going to be a battle. I don't know. I'm still doing some research on this game because I think that this could possibly go Seattle's way. I do think that Geno Smith with a week under his belt in practice with the first team offense is going to be able to do some things. So I'm liking some of these some of the picks. I can't give it away because obviously Mark has a lot to do, and I don't want to give Mark too much of help here. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it to my.
I kind of feel this is like 2-on-1 here, I mean, I don't understand what the hell you guys' problems. I know we're kind of competing against one another, but in this specific environment, we are playing as a team.
Absolutely.
And now you're kind of embarrassing me in front of my special guest here. So, without further ado, let me just take a step back here and tee up Frank for a second here. So, look, in the grand scheme of things here, I'm probably the oldest fart. You two are pretty much no spring chickens. But Frank is kind of a phenom here. Puts out a lot of great stuff here. Over 200 followers on TikTok here. Runs a great YouTube channel as well, and definitely is a key member of the sports hosts team. So with that in mind here, I just want to take a step back and shut up for a second here. Kick over to Frank. Frank, how's it going today? Thanks for joining us. And if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of a rundown on what your background is, who you are. I know that you're a big Knicks and Jets fan. I understand that nobody's perfect. That's okay. Although I'm a Knicks fan as well. But just give us a little bit more on your background, how you get started, how you accumulated the following that you actually have, and how you like progressing with sports hosts so far, if that's okay.
Yeah. So thank you guys for having me. Sorry for being late.
No problem.
Kind of a long night last night, but yeah, I started on TikTok on January 1st this past year. My cousin was running a podcast for 2 or so years. Did a little Instagram, but never really TikTok. And we were like, let's try this. Came up with a schedule to post, very often, 5 times a day each. A lot to keep up with, but we kind of committed to it and went with it from there. Now during the football season, I run through a whole schedule of postings to do that and just try and, get to, responding to people in comments, build a community, stuff like that. And then YouTube started the shorts thing. So we were like, we could post these TikToks on YouTube too. Same sort of story. So we started saving them to our phone. You get rid of the watermark on this app that we use on the internet. You post them on YouTube and, you can gain subscribers from that as well. So we use the content for, multi-use. And then I joined up with Sports Host, late in August. Started a TikTok account with them. I think we started on September 9th with 2 other guys. And we just hit 10,000 followers. Actually, yesterday, I think, too, for that. So we're doing pretty well with that. Trying to build our page on the app, help everyone win their fantasy football leagues. I think that's the most important thing out of all this. Get to everyone's questions, help them win their leagues. A lot of people, although fantasy's been around for a while, just, really started for the first time. So we're trying to do a lot with that on Sports Host as well.
No, I appreciate it. As we progress here, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but maybe, and I don't necessarily need as much help as say some other people here, but maybe you can start giving a couple of different pointers on helping a couple of other individuals make better picks and win some Statement Games tournaments as well. But we'll get there. I guess, one step at a time. I know that you're really just getting introduced to us for the first time. And yeah. Although I can see that you've kicked some ties with the platform and things like that. And, hopefully everything's starting to make a little bit more sense to you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
So the way that this format works here is that, we're competing as a team. However, we're also competing against one another. So as I explained to you before here, what we usually do here is it's almost like a snake draft. I'll pick first. I mean, if it was up to me, I would let you pick second, but let's just see what these other two turkeys want to kind of fill you into the rotation. But we kind of go through like the list here, and we're competing under the username SG Live. And hey, you know what? If anybody can beat this, there's additional prizes that can go out to people. However, as you know, with the sports host stuff here, there's some cool stuff for people to win if they can go 10 for 10 in terms of sports host apparel, as well as I come to the table with almost like a rookie card every single week. So this year it's a 2004 Ben Roethlisberger rookie card PSA 10. I'm not sure if you follow the sports card trading industry like in a roll, but these are just some of the little things that we do just to get people aware of and incentivized by our free-to-play game that's just got a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports.
Awesome.
So, Will and Nathan, where do you want to slot Frank in? Do you want him kind of go second, or do you want to? I mean, he might want to kind of go last, so he can just kind of see, how we go through like this whole process here. But I'm very interested to hear kind of Frank's pick. He's pretty much like on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if he wants to go second. We can just kind of go down the line
Frank,
and
we'll
then
leave it to you.
back
Do you
up.
want to go second? I always got to go first because I'm the baby and I have to get my.
It doesn't matter to me.
I have go second, or if you want to go last, you can go last.
I have 4 picks written down that I liked, so I should be good going anywhere in the order. I should be able to get to all of them, I think.
So, guys, just so that we know here, since Frank is kind of playing, are we okay with only making 2 picks, and then maybe we'll kind of, although we're not playing in the pick'em contest this week on this show, but maybe there's a game that kind of sticks out in everybody's hand, and we'll count that towards our overall record for the year, if that sounds fair.
Yeah, we can do 2. So just kind of go down the line. I'll make my 2 picks. We go back up. We'll leave 2 for off air. Maybe that could be Frank's other 2 picks, and then that way we have some competitive advantage. And we'll go with that. So, Mark, if you want to kick it off, go for it.
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of looking at a couple of different things here. So one, I believe that even kind of last week, Seattle only got to Stafford once. They only put 3 kind of quarterback pressures on the Rams quarterback here. And taking a look at Pittsburgh last week, Ben Roethlisberger only got 1 sack and was, I think, only pressured one other time. Ben Roethlisberger is a pocket kind of a quarterback, has the ability to pick you apart if you kind of allow him to here. Seattle's actually kind of averaging probably a little over 305 passing kind of yards a game. I believe they gave up almost 300 kind of 60 last week. So I like the Pittsburgh kind of offense this week. So my first pick here, I'm keying in on the Steelers just offense, and I'm not going to be opposed to Geno Smith throwing a pick 6 or something like that as well. So give me the Steelers as a team over 23.5 points.
Nice. There we go. All right, Frank, you're up.
All right. Well, I think I kind of agree with you on the point that the Steelers offense will kind of handle Seattle, considering their defense is also atrocious. But speaking on their defense, their run defense is, I think, ranked last in the National Football League, or at least bottom 3. So I'm going to go with Najee Harris over 58.5 rushing yards. I think that's a lock. He ran for over 100 last week on Denver. First time he kind of got really implemented into the offense with the ground game, because a lot of the times he's just catching passes. So I think Pittsburgh kind of goes up early. They control the game, control the line of scrimmage with Najee running the football. So over 58.5 rushing yards. I think that's a really easy, honestly. I think he might be able to double that.
Frank, confident. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. There we go. All right, Will, what do you got for us?
All right. Well, Frank actually took my pick. I was definitely going for that because
good job,
as you
Frank.
know, you got
stick it to Will is a good thing.
You got two receivers down, right? So he's going to get all the production that he can. He's going to get those snaps, and he's going to get the carries as well. So that's a great pick, Frank. So I'll actually count that towards my towards mine if it hits, and if it doesn't, then you get all the blame there. But I think with a Geno Smith coming in, and again, Pittsburgh's going to I think Pittsburgh's going to get out to a lead, and Geno Smith is going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. So I like Geno Smith over 19.5 completions.
I have that written down too.
Yeah, let's go.
There you go.
There we go. Nice. All right, so we're going back to back for me. I'm actually keying in a little bit on the defense here. 2 things here. We've got a backup quarterback coming in Seattle. Geno Smith, yeah, he can run. You looked at him last week and he threw a pick to kind of lose the game and last week, and I think that with he's opposing TJ Watt on the other side. You got Minka Fitzpatrick in the secondary. Like Pittsburgh has a good defense. So I'm actually gonna key in on both of those. I'm gonna say I got the Steelers for more than 2.5 sacks, and then I've also got them for over 1.5 turnovers. I think that Geno Smith, while I think he could be competitive in this, he could keep them going. I don't think he's going to be as precise as like Russell Wilson would have been, and so there's going to be some slop on the field there, and between either sacks or the turnovers, I kind of feel like that's going to be the case of this game. Go for it, Will.
Well, as you guys know, and Frank, let me introduce myself. I'm an overs kind of guy. I love the overs here, and I just looking at the total here set at 42.5. I think it's too low. So again, to Nate's point, I think there's going to be some opportunities for the offense to go ahead and get the ball earlier, and not only in some 3 and outs, but also some turnover situations. So I like this game to go over 42.5.
Just real quick, Will, I actually kind of like that pick a lot here. It's important, or I think it's important to point out that kind of like right before like the game, once Geno Smith was announced, that over on the spread dropped a full 7 points. So that I mean I understand that there's a big difference between Russell Wilson and Geno Smith, but 7 points is a lot. So I think you're actually getting a bargain at 42.5 here. I actually have that written down as one of my picks here. So I do like that, and I thought it's important to point out that 7 points is a lot in my opinion.
Huge,
absolutely
huge in football.
Yeah. All right, Frank.
Yeah, that's one of the lowest overs I think I've seen all year, actually. 42.5 is really low. But my next pick, I talked about Najee Harris earlier. I'm going to take his over 0.5 rushing touchdown as well. I think that's another lock. He got in the end zone last week. I think he gets back in the end zone again this week. Like I said, I think Pittsburgh kind of controls the game from the start and keep the ball on the ground, especially with the receivers hurt. And I think, honestly, Big Ben's like sort of washed at this point as well. So just getting the ball in Najee's hands as much as possible and control the game that way.
Nice. All right, Mark, wrap us up.
All right, so I'm just kind of like looking at the fact that I mean, look, I understand that it's Geno Smith and things like that here, but it's not like Pittsburgh is reaching for the top shelf with regards to like their secondary. They're 22nd in the league. They're giving up over 260 yards passing, per week here. So I think you're getting like a little bit of a bargain. Seattle has actually had 10 full days to kind of prepare for Pittsburgh. So I think that's, a reasonable enough time for Geno Smith to step in and actually perform at a reasonable level. So I'll take Geno Smith over 260 passing yards. I'm sorry.
You're getting a bargain there at 250.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 250.
We can move that line, though, for you, Mark.
No. I'll keep it at 250.
All right, there it is. So we're going to keep the last two off air so that we have some competitive advantage. But we are playing in contest 1 of the Sunday night Seattle versus Pittsburgh tournament. Mark has come to the table with a great offer from some free stuff if you follow his rules and you beat us. And we've wrapped up this card. But anything last minute, Mark, you want to talk about with Frank? Since he just came on. Anything else?
Let's just so that we kind of like have 3 picks, and ties suck. We can't like have a tie or something like that here. So, is there? I'll open up to Will and Frank from a game perspective. Is there any kind of games that are sticking out to you? Of course, I'm talking about either over/unders or games with the spread, whether it be. Well, the Jets have a bye this week, so Frank's kind of probably right.
Can't lose to the bye.
Me personally, there's a couple of things that I'm actually looking at here. I'm just not comfortable with Cincinnati being a road favorite as of yet, so I'm kind of like keen on on that game against Detroit. I'm not sure I have the guts to pull the trigger on Detroit. But that's one that I'm taking a look at here. I think you're getting a bargain, especially if Daniel Jones, I don't want to sound like a homer, if he kind of plays that game here, I think 9.5 points is a lot for the Giants to be getting at home. So just those are a couple of games that I'm looking at here. Is there anything that's sticking out in your guys' minds?
So I like the Chargers at Baltimore. I think that spread, Baltimore -2.5, and the over under set at 51 points is pretty low. So I'm gonna definitely be hammering this game, not only with the total and also the spread, but then also some player props. So going to be having a lot of action in this game, and that's actually one of the early games on Sunday. So if that turns out the way that I expect it to, then I can go ahead and roll that over to the 3 o'clock games and then the Sunday night and Monday night football game.
All right.
Yeah, you said you're a big overs guy. That game is the perfect game for the overs. It's going to be a shootout. I would say at least, like 30-30 or something like that, especially considering Baltimore kind of found their rhythm last game with the passing offense in the second half. Lamar threw for like 300 yards just in the second half. But I actually disagree with you, Mark. I think the Bengals is a road favorite this week. I kind of like them. I think they're one of those teams that can kind of stick with anyone. They stuck with the Packers last week, and if it wasn't for that all those kicking mishaps, they actually had a chance to win it twice. So I think the Bengals kind of underrated. I think they have a chance to actually sneak into the playoffs too as the 7th wildcard team in the AFC. So I'm going to take them. I think the Lions also, like last week, again, was another gut-wrenching loss, with that late field goal from Minnesota after you get that 2-point conversion. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I think really that they kind of are a 9-7, 10-7 team now because we added that game team this year. And I think it's only like 3.5.
I was going to say that the half scares me is kind of like a wear, man. And I'm a big proponent. I love kind of like betting on home teams getting points. That's just kind of like my thing here. But you just got me off of that game here, so I will bypass Nate. And since I was thinking about 2 games, and since I don't necessarily have Will showing up the game, and I already have my parking pass ready, printed out, and ready to go here, I'm going to be attending. I'll take the 9.5 points. I'll and then you guys can you can blame me. So I'll take the Giants. You can put it on my tab and my record. Let me just make sure I'm getting 9.5, right?
They are
9.5. I'll take the 9. I'll take the 9.5 points. You want to give me 10? I'll take 10.
Yeah, they're at 10 at some books, so that's not bad. I mean, 9.5, 10 points is all good. So
my own freaking system screwed me. All right, so I'll take the 9.5. Go ahead, Nate. You're up. So Will, just for the record, you're on the over of the Baltimore and the LA game. We got Frank. You locking in on that? Is that the one game we can pencil you in for? Do you want to take the Cincinnati, or is there another game that you want to switch over to?
Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'm pretty confident in Burrow, so I'll go with that.
All right. Nate, you're up.
Okay. And you pulled the Rams game. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
You can take the Rams. I mean, it's not like we're playing a contest or anything like that. So if you wanted to go against me and battle it out,
Yeah, definitely then. I'm all day on the Rams, especially against the Giants.
I mean, I was just throwing it out. I didn't think you were going to do it. I mean, that's pretty good.
You guys got you're playing half your team right now, and the half that are injured weren't going to make the difference in this anyways. So yeah, no, give it to me.
Wow,
I'll take it. Stafford is looking, just amazing, comfortable. He's doing all the Stafford things without the worry of the other team
because time difference. They're tired. They're they're arrogant. They're feeling
from
too
Detroit.
Good about themselves.
He hasn't even adjusted to that time zone out there yet. And all he's got to do, he has to show up now, and 2 or 3 drives is the difference that Stafford makes on that team because of that defense. Whereas in Detroit, it was he had his backpack and he was carrying that team. As you can look and see this year, because this looks a lot like the 2016 Lions, which were always like embattled and like coming from behind and everything. But Stafford was on that team back then, and Stafford made the difference in 8 comebacks in the last minute of that's in the season for those games. And now you look at Jared Goff trying to do the same thing, and he fails every time, which is great. We need a high draft pick so that we can replace him very soon. But Stafford there, he's confident. He's calm and collective. Like, I've never seen him look this way, because it's always how is the defense going to screw us this game? How am I going to have to come back? Because you look, he's had some pretty bad mistakes, and they've never hurt the team really, in the sense of losing the game. The defense comes through, picks him back up, and hey, he's back on the field. So, yeah, I'll take the Rams all day on that one. I probably circled that one before the season. So, but anyways, make sure for all of our audience out there, you are
just hold on one sec here before
okay.
we sign off here. Just Frank, plug away here. Let's just where can we find you? Talk about your TikTok account, your YouTube page, all that stuff over here. And is there anything special you're going to be talking about on your everyday NFL fan group on Sports Host this weekend? And anything that we should be keen on and looking forward to?
Yeah, so just basic TikTok account is at Sneaky Sports Podcast. We same username on YouTube as well. We post a podcast every Monday and Thursday, talking about NFL and NBA specifically. Obviously if it's playoff baseball time once in a while, college football playoffs, we'll throw that in there. And then for Sports Host, we're using at Everyday NFL on TikTok, and then our page on the app is at Everyday NFL as well. And basically this weekend we just help everyone with fantasy advice, starts and sits, stuff like that, trades, rating your fantasy team, just basic stuff to help you win your league. We're on top of responding to all the questions, direct messages, etc. So on Sports Host, we're just really there for like assistance for a lot of people that just started fantasy football or want some advice for people that have been playing fantasy football since, 8th grade and, been following football closely since, 2005. So,
cool. Can we get you to give any Statement Games advice, though, or Sports Host kind of good advice on some of these picks here? I mean, we got to get someone to go 10 for 10. We got T-shirts from Sports Host that we got to give away, but I guess we can kind of address that offline and things like that. But no, that's cool. Really appreciate your time. That's pretty much all I got, Nathan. Anything?
No,
that
sounds
good.
Close
out with.
Yeah, great to have you on there, Frank. And so for everyone out there, make sure you are following on all social medias at Statement Games. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Statement Games Inc. And of course, be playing StatementGames.com or in Apple and Android App Store. It was great having you on, Frank. Good hearing from your picks and kind of shaking things up. I'm very curious how we go this week, and how many wins I'm gonna get. Will's gonna probably knock it out of the park, but Mark, I don't know. You're trending backwards, so let's see if you can right the ship.
Your freaking ass is trending backwards, is what